Voice you trust for the teams you love. You're listening to Marc Daniels and the Beat of Sports.
Happy Monday, and off we go. New week on the Beat of Sports. Final one of July. Chris Vasquez produces their program.
I do.
He's over there. I'm over here. If you're watching the stream, I'm on the left. He's on the right. Not to be confused.
Because I'm always right.
How are you? Oh. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
Good. Yeah, fine.
Good weekend?
Mulched.
Ugh.
Did a lot of mulching. If I buy another bag of mulch, I'm going to lose it, and we still may need more mulch. You know? And I'm not good either. I was telling Kelly in the bridge, my wife, I don't want her lifting up the bags of mulch and everything, so cow manure and mulch. And I think we're 15 bags in, and we still need more.
Ugh.
And my wife loves her garden, front and back, okay? And she'll be like, okay, can you lay the bag of mulch down there? And then don't step on that. And to me, it's like, what? And it's like a $900 plant I just stepped on. Can you watch what you're doing? Just put it over, just lay it down. I was like, I'm not a net positive here. I'm not doing anything good here right now.
Now, are you doing this?
Don't cover the hole up. I'm planting something there.
Now, are you doing this on purpose so she won't ask you for help?
No, I'm doing this quickly to get out of doing it. Oh, the only role I play is to open the big bag, pour it out in a general area, then she will rake and do it her way because, I don't have a green thumb.
I don't either.
And,
I don't do yard work. I hate everything
and
yard work.
Her garden is we have a walkway that splits the front, and both sides are identical.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever plant is in flower, and man, if I step near something, just put it down and walk away.
Do you guys have stray cats in your neighborhood?
Wrong guy to ask, man.
I mean, I know you have like your outdoor cats.
Yeah, a baby cat who lives inside, and
But I'm talking about like just strays that roam the neighborhood.
I mean, we're taking care of 2 outdoor cats now.
They don't like get into the plants, ruin anything.
No. I told you, I got Snow White. I got a family of raccoons that we take care of. No. Well,
we do.
Once in a while, we get the guy with the dog that just thinks, hey, it's open season on your yard.
Well, apparently cats do that in our yard too.
Don't have that problem.
Lucky.
But no, it was nice. Went out to dinner on Saturday, and it was just hot, even at night, man. It's just been hot at night and everything. So
yeah.
It was fun.
And even though it rains, it doesn't help because then that humidity is just disgusting.
Ugh. But it was good yesterday afternoon. I ran later in the afternoon, early evening. Did a little football prep, Chris.
Yes.
In a couple hours.
Right around the corner.
Depth chart, roster memorization, little nuggets about players, nicknames,
Nice.
all that stuff.
It's
Got that
exciting.
vibe.
It's exciting.
You always got to be careful, though, because sometimes some position battles you don't know, and they're like 2 months from now, like, I wasted 40 minutes on a guy that's never going to play this year. Got like 17 notes on this guy, and he's not going to see a snap.
Better to
But
have
then
it.
you realize you can't go, oh, he's not here. Not here? I just spent an hour on this guy. What do you mean he's not here?
Better to have it and not need it.
I know. Yeah. But it's good. Got a little vibe. Started working the log and everything.
Yes.
It was good. It's good.
I need football in my life, Mark.
Yeah, we got some football, which we'll get to today. Chris, today, I guess there's some schools that do this. Why? Midnight football practice madness for high school, because today's the first day high school football can practice. Had the team out at midnight. Come on, man. Check yourself. Just you're not playing second week of December because you kicked off practice at midnight on July 27th. That's not the difference. It's not.
We work hard, Mark.
You could work hard at 9 o'clock this
Show
morning.
me your commitment.
Uh-huh.
How committed are you?
If you're not puking at 1:30 in the morning, what are we doing out here? Huh? What are we doing? Yeah. What are we doing? We're getting bit by mosquitoes, Coach.
I want to see you back here at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for 2-a-days.
Yeah, you got to be careful now. You can't do that stuff. So, yeah. All right, we got some guests today. We got a lot of football to get to. We'll do that. If you're someone that gets a little bent out of whack when people give Chris, you love this, off-season grades, relax.
I'm all about the offseason grade.
Exactly.
Give my Cowboys a B.
Random letters. Just random letters. But I'm going to get, because I know some people are upset, like, did you see what so-and-so gave so-and-so? All right. Just relax. I'll explain, but first, everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? 1Forrest1.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CV's dad joke of the day.
That's so great.
By the way, Chris, you want to acknowledge the amount of candy you ate before the show today?
I'm still munching.
And you're hold up. What is it? I mean, it's a free plug, but what you're eating sprees?
Yeah, I love my sprees. What?
You just pour a bag of sugar in your mouth.
I eat like 30 at a time.
Oh,
What?
nothing. Go. Make us laugh. Make me a bicycle clown.
Mark, I'm going to actually give a shout out to a listener who gave me this joke. He came and saw me at the bar last night in Avalon Park. He said he's texted it in. I didn't see it, but
Okay.
I'm going to give it to him now.
All right.
Mark, did you hear about the king who was only 12 inches tall?
No, Chris, I didn't hear about the king who's only 12 inches tall.
He was a terrible king, Mark, but he was a great ruler.
How many beers in when he told you that one, huh?
Hey there, it's Chad and Leslie from Magic 1077. And if you want real sports updates, keep it here on the Beat of Sports.
Chad, I give real sports updates.
No, you don't, Leslie. Nobody likes your sports updates. You don't even know your sports updates.
Bit of sports on this Monday. You can listen to the show on FM 96.9 AM 740. You can access on the iHeart app anywhere in the world, free to download and use it as a preset and listen to us in the iHeart app. You can listen in podcast form for the entire show, the Beat of Sports on Demand, where you get your podcast. You can watch the video stream on our YouTube page, 96.9 The Game Orlando. You can access that stream also on Twitter, 96.9 Game On. Somebody's asking about my Tottenham shirt today.
Yep, asking about your shirt.
Why not? I'm a Tottenham fan. Not easy. Barely survived. Almost got relegated last year, but excited for a new season. Opening up on the 22nd against Brentford and feel pretty good about finishing 14th this year to 20. So, got to stay loyal to your team, man.
Hey, I appreciate
and
it.
I said, and then I want to get to what season before. Chris, Tottenham's known for being a big spender and never winning a championship, okay? But last season, which ended in May, okay, the last 2 months of the year, they are near the relegation zone. And I'm telling you, it was totally different when you're fighting to not get relegated. I mean, one thing, you compete to make Champions League near the top or to win a title, which Tottenham's not going to do in my lifetime. But when you're trying to not get relegated, oh my God, the last 2 months was unbelievable. So support your team, and they're back in a couple of weeks. So that's the Tottenham shirt you got there. Chris, I noticed something over the weekend, just aggregated on my timeline on Twitter. A lot of Magic fans were upset because, we got off-season grades that were given out, Chris. You're a big off-season grade guy, right?
You know it.
Chris is a big off-season grade guy. What do you got, B+?
No, I gave my Cowboys a solid B.
Solid B.
Solid B.
Yeah, right. Solid B. Whatever. And so I saw what people were posting, like took a screenshot, and so I clicked on, because I fell for the bait, right? And Chris, the grade wasn't good. Like, not good. Like your parents got a sign to make sure that they saw how bad the grade was.
Oh, I hated that.
So D+ for the Magic. D+. And it just basically said, hey, Vooch returning minimum contract, otherwise set out the offseason, hire Sean Sweeney. D+, and people were upset, either A, disagreeing, or B, piling on, going, it was a miserable offseason. Can I ask you a question, Chris?
Yes.
By the way, the Wizards got a D+, the Pelicans got a D, the Clippers are incomplete, and the Raptors incomplete because of the whole Kawhi thing. Do you know who Zach Cram is?
No.
Right. I'm not picking on Zach Cram, but he wrote a story and he gave out his own grades. This wasn't like ESPN gathered every NBA executive in a, hey, we won't reveal your name, and you tell us off-season grades. Zach Cram sat down and gave out grades. But let me just say this, okay? Forget what Zach Cram gave out a grade for the Magic's offseason, okay? I don't care if you're the most optimistic fan about the Magic season or you're the most critical fan of the Magic's offseason or team in general. Here's a fact, okay? This is a fact. Compared to other teams in the East, they didn't make as many moves. Now, just because you make moves doesn't mean you're guaranteed to be better. The 10 o'clock hour, WYGM Orlando, WJR HD2 Cocoa Beach. The Magic traded Jamal Mosley out and brought in Sean Sweeney as coach. That's a fact. I mean, they didn't switch teams, but out went Mosley, in came Sweeney. Okay. Will it work? I don't know. I hope it does. And like I've said, Sean Sweeney has the resume that has warranted an opportunity to be a head coach, and let's hope he makes the most of it in Orlando. Moves, they basically moved out Mo Wagner and brought in Nick Vucevic. Vooch is fine, was productive in Boston's system last year, and I think Vooch is going to be the Vooch that he's always been. He's not the same that he was 10, 12 years ago, but he'll be productive, and whatever you thought Mo Wagner was going to give you, Vooch is probably going to be a little bit better offensively. You may not get the heart hustle energy thing that Mo Wagner provided. Outside of that, they didn't do anything. They drafted a second-round pick who's one, injured, and two, is likely going to have osteo in his chest more than Orlando this season. The only other thing you can cling to is a 4 or 5 game sample size of Summer League of Jace Richardson and Noah Penda. Other than that, the Magic didn't do anything in the offseason. They didn't. Over-unders in July, soon to be August, mean nothing other than a prediction of what the year may look like. The Magic's over-under is 43.5 today. It's 9th in the East. That doesn't mean that they're going to finish 9th in the East this upcoming season. It doesn't. It doesn't mean, again, that because other teams made deals that the Magic are going to be worse. Because if you want to be a glass half full guy, ready? Hey, they still managed last year to win 45 games with all the injuries that they had. That is a fact. They had injuries and won 45 games. So if you're saying, hey, new coach, new voice, better system, a better, more motivated Paolo, and a healthy Franz and a healthy Jalen Suggs, they're bound to win more than 45 games. Maybe. But it's also true that the East is better. I'm in the boat that believes the East is a much deeper conference than the West. You can argue that the West has two of the top teams of the NBA in Oklahoma City and San Antonio. And despite the Knicks winning, you may say they have the two best teams in the NBA. And I'm not quite sure. I'd argue back. But I don't think the West is as deep as the East. No question about it, about the moves that have taken place. And Orlando is gambling, and they are gambling. They're gambling on the one thing that has been a problem the last 3 seasons. And the first answer isn't shooting, which has been a problem the last 3 seasons. The problem the last 3 seasons is, Chris?
That would be health.
Correct. So you look around. Is Philadelphia better? Again, you can have an opinion here and A. I think the Sixers are better. You don't add that player and not be better. And that player, by the way, first is Jaylen Brown. Okay. 2, there's gas in the tank for LeBron James. Not 82 games worth of it, but there's gas in the tank. There's no question about that. The Knicks are still the Knicks. Detroit, Cleveland. If they figure out the Kawhi deal, the Raptors, the Hawks, the Cavaliers. If you believe Giannis is going to help the Heat, I still want to see what the rest of the look, it's crowded, man. It's crowded. So they won 45 games last year. Can they win more? Maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, if you put anything in, well, what's the perception? Well, the perception is that they are 9th in wins projected now. Chris, let me ask you this question. Just play the game. If you told a Magic fan today they're playing in the play-in elimination game in late April, how's that sitting?
Not well.
Why not?
Expectations still are at least the top 4, top 5 team.
Okay. The front office made the decision to run it back by changing a coach. The other parts are just parts. Nick Vucevic is not a critical piece for this team. He's a role player at this stage of his career. They didn't break up a young core. They didn't trade at the moment Wendell Carter Jr. It is running it back. Running it back means you're hoping that players will take a step forward, both from a health standpoint and from a production standpoint. Will Sean Sweeney make them a better shooting team? Maybe. We'll see. Will he make them a better defensive team? They were an elite defensive team. Can he get them back to that? Yeah, he knows defense. He knows offense too. We'll see. But other teams got better. The gamble is on the health part of it. And you're gambling, and the numbers, you've gone down the path before, In the last 3 seasons, Paolo and Franz and Jalen Suggs have played 85 of 246 games together. 85 out of 246. In the last 2 years, it's 19 because 66 of those happened in 23-24. In the last 2 years, those 3 played 19 games. Jalen Suggs has played 65% of the games he's been available in his 5-year career. In the last 2 seasons, he's played in 56 games. Okay? The last 2 years, Franz has played in 57% of his games. So if you get bent out of whack or somebody gave the team a D+, one, again, I'm not criticizing the person. Zach Cram wrote the piece, and he gave out grades to everybody. And the simple view is they didn't make deals. They didn't. They weren't active. By choice. By choice. Is it wrong? I don't know. I don't know. Is it wrong to gamble that they're going to be healthy? It's tricky. It's tricky. Good run, DMC song. Because of past history. So, if you're comparing Orlando's offseason to others in the East, it was inactive. So was the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks' biggest was Mitchell Robinson out, Andre Drummond in, and a few other small. So, just because you make a bunch of deals doesn't mean you're significantly better. But I do think some teams in the East improve their rosters, and the Magic chose not to. Part of it is aprons, and maybe part of it is a new head coach sold them on a vision like, I can get this team better. So over-under win totals in late July don't mean anything when the ball goes up, but also know this, over-under win totals by those that do it, and whatever value you want to put in that, is also based on health. It's an assumption of health, right? I mean, the people that do that just assume everyone's healthy. So whatever grade you want to give, it just depends how you view it. Like if you're going to put grades going, hey, who was really active in going out and improving their roster? They didn't. Meaning they weren't active. The biggest offseason acquisition for the Magic was a change of coach and a hope for health. That's it. That's what it is. It's a hope for health. One guy that is not coming back, Mario Hezonja. Remember I talked about that 2 weeks ago, Chris?
Yep.
Saw the story at one of the European basketball sites that I follow. Don't question why I do that. And it said Hezonja asking out of his contract. Coming back to the NBA. He's a Cleveland Cavalier. Signing a deal to come back. Good for Mario Hezonja. But the East is tougher. And here's the other thing about the Magic. And you know, you fix this. You fix it with a great start this season, a hot month, a win streak. When the Magic made the deal for Desmond Bane last year, there was buzz. Like, whoa, gave up a lot of draft picks, but man, Bane, proven guy, plug him in. There was buzz. There is no buzz in the offseason of the Magic. You know, one of me, Sean Sweeney, if I dropped you in Detroit, a lot of fans couldn't tell you the head coach of the Magic. That's not criticizing Sean Sweeney. It's just that there's no basketball buzz. Yeah, but they were up 3. There's no buzz. You want to create buzz? Get out of the box 10-2, right? Play a style like, whoa, oh, I see the changes, and that creates buzz. League-wise, there is no buzz. Philadelphia, Jaylen Brown, buzz. LeBron James, lot of buzz. Yeah. I told you this the last couple of years when we focus in college football about what's happened in paying players and the salaries and so on. I told you college basketball in many ways is, you want to call it worse or more opportunistic for players. Payrolls in college basketball at 30 million? Up next, the person who did the deep dive to give you an idea about what teams are paying and how we got here as fast as we did next. College football season just 5 weeks away, and one of the storylines, obviously, the last month with conference media days, and it's about who's the best conference, and it's all about spending money. I mean, heck, even Steve Sarkisian acknowledged they had to get to a cap number to let guys go to sign other guys. And I've said this the last couple of years, people focus on football, and I get it, but in college basketball, the numbers have gotten incredible from where we were just a couple of years ago. Our next guest has done the dive the last couple of years. Brendan Marks writes for The Athletic, covers college basketball. He and his partner, C.J. Moore, did the work on a piece that's up with The Athletic that takes a look at where we are when it comes to money spent on college basketball rosters. Brendan, thanks for joining us. Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
Let me start here. How did you go about gathering this information? I'm going to ask you to share with the audience because you did get some coaches to share some information. What was the process for you and CJ to get some of this information?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my favorite stories that we do every year at The Athletic. We do it over Peach Jam, which is one of the biggest recruiting weekends of the year. It's where, every notable high major coach, a lot of mid-major coaches, basically anybody who is anybody in college basketball is all in the same gym for a couple of days in North Augusta, South Carolina. And so, we quite literally go up and we ask them and there's a lot of backdoor conversations, back hallway conversations, but we straight up ask these guys, how much do you think your opponents are spending on their rosters? How much are you guys spending on your rosters? And, eventually you cull the data together and you get some pretty interesting results.
Is anybody happy? Because, I read your piece the last couple of years. It just seems like everyone's miserable that does this. Is anybody like, yeah, it's fine. The system's good?
No, you would think that even, some of the highest spenders might be okay with it. But no, I think everybody is frustrated. It's the same, across college athletics and basketball and football and everything. We say that this is not sustainable, and yet the prices keep going up. So, again, the idea that there are college basketball players who are going to be making, $5, $7, $9, $10 million next year. Especially, they're making more than the coaches are at this point. So it's been a runaway train, but at this point, there's no indication that the prices and the spending are going to stop anytime soon.
Before I ask you about certain conferences and an increase, give me an idea. If I went searching for a big man in college basketball or a starting point guard, what was the market?
Yeah, you're spending for a, I would say like a below average starter, someone who can barely, someone who's not going to give you a double-double on a nightly basis. You're looking at least $1.5 million. For anybody who is of any salt, anybody who's a, quality high major starter, probably at least $2 million. And obviously the prices go up from there. You're going to have big men this year who are making as much as $5 million. So yeah, you're not getting in the door for less than $1.5 million too, but if you want someone who's a real difference maker, like an all conference player, maybe an All-American, you're talking about at least double that.
Give folks an idea, and I encourage you to read the piece, but give an idea of about where we're at for the power conferences, where we were last year, who saw the biggest jump, and what kind of numbers are we looking at?
Yeah, so, I think last year, I would say that most high major programs, and obviously you had exceptions. Kentucky was reportedly spending $22 million last year. I know of a couple of others who were over $15 million last year. But by and large, the quote-unquote band of competitiveness for teams last year was at about $8 million. If you spend about $8 million on your roster, you could be expected to compete to make the NCAA tournament, which, again, is crazy that you have to spend that much just to be able to get into the field. However, that number has gone up. And entering this offseason, going into next season, if you are not spending at least $10 to $12 million on your roster, even with an expanded NCAA tournament set to debut next year, it's going to be fighting uphill to make it to March Madness. And the fact of the matter is, that $10 to $12 million average, that's just for teams trying to get into the dance. If you are actually trying to compete to win a national championship, you are easily over the $20 million threshold. Some teams are close to or over the $30 million threshold. Basically, you have seen prices go up by at least 40% across the board, but in some leagues, especially the SEC, obviously their TV money from ESPN, the revenue in that contract continues to grow. The SEC, we saw prices go up by about 85% year over year. So the fact that SEC teams on average are spending, $18 to $20 million, it's pretty crazy when a year ago they were spending just under 10.
Is there a conference where the gap is so wide from top to bottom, and is there one that's not as wide?
Yeah, I think the SEC, by and large, even though the league does have so many members, you have some bottom feeders, but their bottom is, what I would call the middle of a lot of other conferences. So, a bottom tier SEC team might be spending $7 or $8 million, whereas a bottom tier ACC team might be spending 3 to 4. And certainly the ACC is a league that comes up frequently when we do this piece because on one hand of the spectrum, you do have blue bloods like Duke and North Carolina. You've got Louisville, who is one of the highest spenders every year in the portal. And then on the flip side, you have Georgia Tech, you have Boston College, you have Wake Forest. And so, there's somebody quoted in our piece saying it's kind of hard to take the average of an 18-team league when there's, a $20 million gap. It might be more like $25 million, frankly. So that certainly is unique to the ACC. Every league has that sort of chasm to some extent. But in the ACC, it's especially pronounced.
One of the things that struck me as I'm reading these quotes that you have of these coaches, and I'm sure you thought about this, is I take a step back and I go, hang on a second, okay? A gambling addict at some point runs out of money. A drug addict runs out of money. A food addict at some point, the health takes over. Where's this coming from? Where are these guys drawing the money from a faucet because the increases happen so rapidly? Where are they turning to get this money?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think a lot of people, coaches, people in the college basketball space thought that spending would sort of peak last offseason because you had the introduction of the house settlement and the advent of revenue sharing, where schools were able to directly pay athletes for the first time. And, that $22 million roughly, for some places, a lot of that is going towards basketball. I mean, the Big East, I think, is a special case, obviously, outside of UConn. They're not sponsoring football. And so, Alabama's $22 million. You can guess what portion is going to go to football versus what portion is going to go to basketball. But at a place like Villanova, they are going to get the quote-unquote football share of that $22 million revenue sharing pot. And so the Big East, I think, has seen a large rise and a large jump in their average spending because of that aspect. But across the board, you're right. I mean, this is coming from donors. This is coming from, multimedia organizations. And there is sort of a race going on behind the scenes, an arms race, if you will, for college teams to find ways like, hey, where are we getting this from? How do we get this clear? There's supposed to be limits on what are fair and reasonable deals. People have to keep finding ways to, squeeze more and more dollars into the definition of fair and reasonable. So, you would think that there would be donor fatigue. You would think that this would eventually cap out at some point. But, for rich guys who used to put their names on a library, now they're putting their names on a basketball team. And until they stop or until there's any sort of, actionable guardrails put in place, it's kind of hard to see those numbers going down.
What is the game of poker played among coaches? Because right now there is no database that you have to register an agreement with somebody. So I would imagine some of these coaches are playing a game of poker. Hey, I heard so-and-so's paying X, so we've got to pay X plus. When you spoke to these coaches, what seemed to be common about, because they're the ones that have driven this market up. I mean, you can blame agents all you want, but someone ultimately chooses to say yes to a price to somebody.
Yeah, I think there is certainly the secrecy to some extent is leading to some of the inflation. And, if you think about it in a per player case, a player can, let's say you're a school and you're recruiting a center in the transfer portal and you have the guy on campus for your visit. He loves it. And then you say, look, we can give you $1 million. And then he says, well, I've got 2 other offers for $2 million. Whoa, okay, well, that's a huge jump. That's a chasm. And so as coaches, you start calling around. Is this real? Can you trust the agents? There's a lot of unsavory agents out there in the space right now. And slowly you sort of start to learn what the market looks like coming together. The fact that this has gotten down to the high school level now too, where, it used to be considered sort of a bargain if you could get a high schooler in because they weren't going to command as much money as somebody who's already been in college. That's no longer the case. Some of the highest paid players in the sport next year are some of the top recruits who just came in. So, you think about this dynamic freshman class that just exited with AJ DeBonsa and Cameron Boozer and Darren Peterson. I mean, those guys were some of the highest paid players in the sport. And so, everybody hears what everybody else is making, money talks, word travels. And so, yes, the coaches are playing a little bit of poker, but also, word gets around quickly. And if you're trying to recruit somebody and you've made an offer for what you think is a quote unquote fair market offer, and then the player comes back to you or his agent comes back to you and says, well, actually, we've got offers for triple that. well, is that still the fair market? And I think that's, sort of the dilemma that a lot of coaches find themselves in.
Coaches don't have to care about this, but whether it's an AD or whoever, and I mean, you're in the heart of college basketball, Tobacco Road there, there are just so many schools that really make significant money. At some point, it's not profitable. I mean, even some of the biggest brands, when you got a payroll of 20, 25 million, and you saw some of the stuff people did last year about ticket sales, at some point, it's not profitable. Is this all about an obsession to win?
Well, it's not profitable a lot of places. I mean, you mentioned I'm right here in Tobacco Road in North Carolina. The University of North Carolina, for the first time ever last year, they borrowed from university funds in order to pay for an athletics deficit. You've seen the same thing at UCLA. You see the same thing, increasingly at a lot of places across the country. And again, these are schools that are making millions and millions and millions of dollars in football and basketball and, their revenue sports. The sentiment that you hear from a lot of athletic directors and that you hear from a lot of university presidents is, especially in this era, they are starting to some extent, treat athletics like a marketing arm of the university. And so maybe it's not paying for itself, but if we can, if we pay $20 million and we put together a championship roster and then our team wins the title, the impact that that's going to have on applications and tuition and, all down the ladder, it's profound. And so, I think that's how some schools try to justify it. But certainly, no, you're right. I mean, you can borrow against the university in a general endowment for now, but, we're talking about $20 million rosters. What about when we're talking about $50 million rosters? Is that still going to fly? I'm not so sure. So maybe we will eventually reach the breaking point, but, and maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense to the general public, but, as the messenger, that is how some athletic departments try to convince themselves this is all worth it.
Got two final ones for, I don't know the fix of this. I don't know the police of this. I'm also curious about the calendar of it. I'm going to try to bring a little bit local here. And when I was exchanging with you, look, Jermichael Stillwell played basketball for UCF last year. He was a big part of why they went to the NCAA tournament. He was told he's out of eligibility. He's part of the group trying to get that fifth year. My guess is he'll probably win. He's already announced that should he get the eligibility, he'll play at Texas Tech. I know what the number is. It begins with a 2. It's not a six-figure number. We're talking about signing guys in August or September. I mean, are we going to get a calendar for this, or is it just whatever?
Yeah, this year we've got a whole new free agency class in the summer, of course. Something else that college basketball needed. No, I think that this year is a unique circumstance to some extent because of the NCAA changing its eligibility rules. And so obviously, for forever, as far as anybody can remember, college athletes have had 5 years to play 4 seasons of eligibility. And obviously, if you get hurt and you need a medical red shirt, or if you get a regular red shirt, or if you serve military service, or there are a number of exemptions. And recently we've seen them with the COVID year, with JUCO seasons, players getting extra eligibility. This summer, the NCAA moved to try and get rid of all of that and try to standardize things across the board. And they said, look, starting with next season, anybody who gets in can play 5 seasons in 5 years. So no more red shirts, no more waivers, no more I was here and there, and no more explanations, no more nothing, just a blanket. Anybody who's in school as of this coming academic calendar gets another year. And so people who would have been rising seniors now get an extra 2 years. The fact that the NCAA introduced that in the summer is why we are now having this huge crop of players come up and suddenly trying to get eligible, because the NCAA did not make this a retroactive rule change. And all of the players like Stillwell, who you mentioned, via lawsuits, they are effectively trying to make it retroactive. And so I agree with you. I think that he's going to be eligible. I think that just about any player who fights this legally is going to be allowed to play next season. I don't know that the NCAA is going to come out and grant a blanket waiver to let all these guys in. But if you fight it in court, I think the juice is going to be worth the squeeze. And, for that reason, this summer we've had this weird crop up. But I don't think that's going to be an every year occasion. Hopefully. I say that. Who knows?
Last question of coaches you spoke with and even your following of this game. 2 years, 5 years. Do we have a better system? Are we able to police this to any degree? Does anybody really want rules? Where are we?
Yeah, I wish I had better news to give you.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a cap coming. I don't know. Really, here's the crux of the matter. And this is the matter. And for all of my buddies, all of their friends, all of their parents, my wife, my in-laws, everybody who comes to me and says, it's crazy what these guys are making. It is. The amount of money in college sports now, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry. The fact that the NCAA is still operating from its, to some extent, amateur framework is the reason for all of this. Because anytime the NCAA, now with all the money involved in college sports, tries to implement a guardrail or a rule or a cap on anything, somebody can go to court, sue, and it will be ruled an antitrust ruling. It's an antitrust violation. And so until you have one of two things, either A, congressional intervention to, grant some antitrust exemptions and they can actually put some of these rules in place, or B, until you have collective bargaining in college sports, it is going to be really, really, really difficult for anyone to actually put a handle on the money, on the movement, on conference realignment, on eligibility, on any of it. Because now there is so much money involved that any time you try to, institute some lines that have to be colored within, you can just run to court and you can get an antitrust violation. So I wish I could say that I think that's coming in the next 2 to 5 years. The college sports bill in Congress, it's been in the ether, in the works for months now. It's probably not going to get voted on. You talk to athletic directors and presidents, some of them are more optimistic than others, but consensus is they're not too optimistic it's ever going to get passed. We have bigger issues in Congress. And there's not much of an appetite for us to have collective bargaining in college sports yet. So in 5 years, we might be in the same place, just with much higher numbers. And you and I will still be having this conversation about how crazy it is what people are spending on college sports.
You can get to Brendan's story that he did with a CJ Morse colleague at The Athletic. He's on X or Twitter at Brendan R. Marks, and get the link there. Brendan, thanks for the time. Hope we talk again. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Chris, I want to do this. I want to do a show within the show here.
Okay.
If you're on the stream, if you're not, you can go over there. Because I want to give you an idea what numbers that he just talked about. I just want to give you an idea where the Gators at one extreme and where UCF is. So if you want to hang out with us, go to the video stream on our YouTube page. You can access that through Twitter as well. We'll get to Chris's football fix. I got stuff for him. We come back next.
All right, we're up.
So in the story that Brendan and CJ did,
Mm-hmm.
they say last year the average payroll in the SEC was $9.7 million for basketball. They say now it's $18 million in 1 year.
That's so ridiculous.
The Gators, by the way, are one of those teams believed to be near $30 million. Okay, Todd Golden has the preseason #1 team in the country, and on paper, you don't win titles on paper. On paper, they're the best team in the country. I mean, they bring back the best roster, a ton of experience. You got his big guys back, and they're going to be really, really good. The Big 12, and in his numbers, the projected figure is about $13.8 million. Without giving too many specifics away, if you're a UCF fan, you're going to have to multiply their number to get anywhere near that. And I'm not talking about multiply like 2, okay? They're nowhere near that. And the figure of about $14 million is because of Texas Tech, who is going to throw reportedly better than $2 million than Jermichael Stillwell, and I know what the exact number is, and other players that they've signed. And by the way, they're not done. They're still looking for their big guy. So between them, Arizona, Kansas, BYU, on the upper end, even Oklahoma State spent a lot of money this year. So when you look and go, okay, at UCF, yeah, they had to turn over an entire roster again, and they're not going to be anywhere near the, quote, average. And if that bothers you, I would just do the bounce pass back and go, what would you like them to do, right? Like at some point, there isn't any more money to go say, well, just go get, can he get another $5-8 million? If they had another $5-8 million, Chris, okay, Jordan Burks would still be at UCF, not at Oklahoma State, where he made a mistake and took less. And still what would be here? And if UCF returned 3 starters from last year, they'd be a top 25 preseason team. They'd be a top 25 preseason team and projected top 4 or 5 team in the Big 12. But they don't have that. And if you get frustrated, go, oh, so they're going to be near the bottom of the league. How do you want to create money that is not there? And as Brendan talked about, and I asked the question, the amount of programs that sell in ticket sales alone, and even what's projected sponsorship, okay, I'm guessing, and maybe somebody can spin the numbers, there's zero chance that Florida is going to generate $30 million in revenue on basketball this year. None. Zero. But they're moving money from football and all the media money they get, but in actual expenses, because it's $30 million, then what you spend on everything, the fly and the hotel and the food and everything, they'll never make that back. Never make it back. Now, if they win a championship in 2 and 3 years, fans, will give money. But there's some in basketball, it just doesn't make sense anymore because you're not making any money. You're just not making money.
If the spending,
I'll tell you right now, by the way, if UCF spent $10 million in basketball, they're losing money. Why? I know. Last year, if you went to a Big 12 game, okay, their Big 12 attendance was 93%. You're not fitting another 5,000 people inside that place. I know they did in ticket sales. If they spent if they spent $6-7 million more, they're losing millions of dollars in basketball.
if the spending keeps going the way it's going, will this cause schools to cut basketball as a sport?
Not basketball, but a lot of other sports. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's easy to predict. The non-revenue sports, you're just going to be like, I'm not spending money on this. You got to be careful with Title IX, but it's going to mean, there goes the men's golf team, there goes the track team, there goes this and that, and a couple of women's team. There's no question.
So at what point
they'll become club sports?
But at what point do you say, you know what, we can't keep doing this?
Oh, there are some universities that would tell you this isn't worth it overall on everything. Yeah, you can borrow from the general fund of the university just so much before somebody goes and says, you know what, they borrowed $400 million the last X number of years. And someone's going to be like, really? It's unbelievable. In football, I'm not telling you can justify it, but those that are spending $40, $50 million, if you're making 80 or 90, okay, yeah, you're still making pretty good money. Just think a few years ago when you weren't paying players, you're making a lot of money. Okay, you can say, yeah, but we made, we spent 50, but we made 45 million. It's still 45 million. Mm-hmm. When you tell somebody what to spend in basketball, we spent 20. What do we do? We lost $6 million. How many years can you pull that off before someone's like, I don't think that works? I've told you for years, basketball was always going to be the one that got insane. So anyway, I'm going to get back to football for Chris and an NFL fix coming up.
You can't spell sports talk radio without Marc Daniels. This is the beat of sports.
All right, we got NFL training camps all open. Big Jacoby Brissett news, huh? You like that, huh?
Good for him. Did you hear the Eric Bieniemy situation?
His wife was shot at their home?
Yeah.
Horrific story. She's in the hospital.
And the Bills dropped their new alternate uniforms. I'm not a fan.
Okay, I'm not doing alternate uniform talk, okay? So if that's your game,
you said football fix.
Find your own podcast. I'm not doing alternate uniform talk. Top 5 alternate uniforms. Go.
By the way, the Jets have.
The Cowboys going to. Oh, okay.
Deep playoff run, baby.
Before I get to that, can I play you something?
Yes.
Well, no, hold on. Oh, wait. Never mind.
Come on, you got me hyped up now.
I did. Okay, but it's not NFL related.
Oh,
But he's a football guy.
okay.
Did you? I'm going to play something. Do you think this is a conflict here? Okay. This is McAfee, Pat McAfee. This is Friday when the LeBron news breaks and he brings Shams on. Okay. Listen closely here.
We were told by Shams, you're going to want me on the show today. So it's like, okay, decisions being made. So I just hammered top 4. He was at plus 700. I do not know, okay, if any of it worked. But when you say needle mover, ground breaker, news shaker, I mean,
Anybody got a conflict that Shams tips him off that he's got LeBron news and Pat McAfee goes and starts betting? Anybody see a conflict there?
A little bit. Play it again.
Okay. Here you go.
we were told by Shams, you're going to want me on the show today. So it's like, okay, decisions being made. So I just hammered top 4. He was at plus 700. I do not know, okay, if any of it worked. But when you say needle mover, ground breaker, news shaker, I mean,
I mean, you know, it's a little bit of a conflict there, is it not?
If the decision was already made,
It wasn't announced. So you didn't know. No one's cashing a ticket yet. And he got a tip, and Shams like, hey, today's the day you want to have me on. And if you're McAfee, whether Shams tells you, like, hey, I'll just go bet these top 4 spots and so forth. And the Sixers were plus 700 on most.
I feel like it's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like
I
it's
don't
a
know.
bit of a stretch.
I don't know. Everybody's, all your
'Cause
favorite,
even though
all your favorite politicians do it every day. I'm
Even
not
though-
even talking about the one of the big plays. I'm talking about everybody else. What?
I don't know if you'd be able to cash that in right then and there. Like, take that advice and then go bet it real quick.
Why not?
Because it was already done.
No. There's nothing known at all. And if he gets a text from Shams that says, hey, you're going to want to have me on today, whether Shams told him Philadelphia or not, and he turns and goes, well, if Shams is coming on, he's got news about LeBron, I'll just go throw some money on these teams and so forth. I mean, is he committing a crime? He's not committing a crime, but I mean, it's basically
I think
getting
it's
inside.
Bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's a stretch because of the partnerships that they've got. I mean, it's the awkwardness and the hypocrisy sometimes of when you get in bed with who's your presenting sponsor. Okay? All right. Let me get to the other bizarre stuff, okay? You want to try to explain Kyle Shanahan? How does that happen? And what appears to be San Francisco 49er media that were asked to and did not report it. Why? Why?
That's iffy.
And if it's nothing more than a regular accident and he's going to be okay, why the secrecy for what ended up being, 11 days? Why?
Because it's more than just an accident.
Oh. And what happens when you try to cover up stuff?
It always comes out.
Right.
And you're going to look 100 times worse.
So is Shanahan going to bring a puppy to his next press conference like Mike Vrabel did?
He might be hand in hand with Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, you got to admit, it is. I mean, that story just got more weird by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
First, you're like, oh, wow, it was an accident. Is he okay? Well, it was a serious accident. He had this happen to him. And then you're like, oh, by the way, it happened. And then people are trying to track down 911 calls and everything. And then others like, yeah, the Niners tipped off some media.
Yeah, it's nothing about this feels right. It's very weird. And again, why would you want to cover it up?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I mean, you got me. I mean, if he's in a regular car accident.
So is it a DUI?
I don't know.
That they're trying to cover up?
Well, I think by now that would have been out. I don't know.
Was he traveling with something that he shouldn't have?
I don't know. It's just odd. And then it was like, oh, it went from, hey, Kyle Shanahan was in a car accident to, oh, it happened 11 days ago, and oh, here's all the calls are made in 911, and it's just like, huh? Then I'm reading again that the Niners may have tipped off several members of the meeting, asking them not to report it, and you're like, what?
That's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't venture a guess. Everything is just obviously speculation, but you don't hide a car accident.
Unless you got something to hide.
Right.
You know? I mean, even Tony Romo called Shannon like, hey, man, you got to get out. You just may as well.
Bringing too many spotted cows up there.
Yeah, it's just a bizarre story with them. You know? So I don't know what else comes out.
What do you think is
something else happened? I don't know if was he drinking?
And not to downplay this by any means, but I mean, again, we just saw Tony Romo popped with an OWI. We see guys Brandon Ayuk driving recklessly. We see guys all the time get DUIs. I don't know why San Francisco's going out of their way. Unless
one guy brought a puppy out to his press conference to avoid uncomfort, but yeah, I don't know. Just seems a little bit odd.
Yeah.
It does. So I don't know what else comes digging out of this, but yeah.
I don't know. I can't venture a guess. Like what is so bad that you want to hide it?
I don't know. And I don't know which members of the Niners media may have covered it up. But if there are those that work for legitimate news outlets, I'm not talking about like I'm making up a name here, NinersWire.com. But the one remaining newspaper in the Bay Area and anybody of the TV outlets, I'd like to think somebody's boss is like, so what did we do? When did we know about this? And why did we not report it? Right? I mean, you would think that would be the case.
Maybe it's because the severity of the injuries that I don't know.
No, and it just leads to the speculation game. I don't have any idea either.
And you know what happens when you let people speculate? Their imaginations just run wild.
Yeah. So we'll. I mean, it puts a whole different spin. Which leads to this question. I don't know what has happened with Shanahan here, but I want to bring it back to the other one who brought the puppy dog. Again, somebody in PR's got to go, Mike, put the dog down. Okay, someone will hold the dog here. Just put the dog down. Don't bring the dog out there. Do you believe if nothing else is done, meaning Vrabel goes about his, clearly the Patriots have decided he's going to coach. Is this a non-factor when the season kicks off and there's nothing there?
It's honestly,
and the same deal, like if there's something about Shanahan that comes out that is a bit embarrassing, do these things just go away when we start playing games?
With Vrabel, I think it's all going to depend on the media. If the media keeps hounding him and hounding the players,
on you win, right? I mean, isn't that the biggest thing here?
Yeah, but you could be winning, and then one game is all it's going to take. One game that you should have won, that you lost at home, looked terrible, unprepared, whatever it is, then questions, they pop back up.
Right, but I think you'll agree with me here. Ready? At the Seahawks, home for the Steelers, at the Jaguars, at the Bills. Right?
Tough stretch to open
if they're
season.
1-3, suddenly that's a problem again. Right? Maybe not maybe. There'd be football reasons why they'd be 1-3, but right? Oh, distraction and all that stuff. Even at 2-2, but if you go 1-3?
I think
and 3 or 4 out of the game the road. Yeah.
Well, Vrabel is, I'm not going to say he's happy that Kyle Shanahan was in a car accident, but the fact that there's now another
else is now dealing with
another coach is now under some fire, it does kind of take the bullseye off of him. I think this Rossini thing's done. I really don't.
I just looked. You know, the Niners open up with 4 straight home games? Rams, Dolphins, Cardinals, Broncos.
Very easily could go 2-2.
But they have 4 straight home
Yeah.
games.
Schedule makers love them, apparently.
Wow. Interesting. So I
Do you think the Strusini thing's a story still?
No.
No,
I think the majority of Boston football writers don't care. Don't care.
Mhm.
Camp opens, you know,
And
you're
the fact
writing
that
the
we
same
saw
boring columns.
Rustini
and
was
stuff.
on a cruise with her husband
No,
and their
but
kids.
I mean, there's unless someone drops more photos and stuff, I think you move past that. I don't think there's anything else that they bring up.
It's not going to be a
There's
cause
more
for
the
distraction.
TMZs and page 6s of the world that are salivating for anything, but which is why the whole thing with the puppy just
It could have just gone out
Mike, just
regular.
put the dog down and go out and do a football.
Again,
press
at least it
conference.
wasn't. He didn't bring out his kids.
I don't know, but the puppy dog was just. How did anybody think? Good idea. Hold the dog up. Tell him how cute he is.
Who doesn't love a
give him
puppy?
his name.
Who doesn't love a puppy?
Yeah,
Mark?
just go do that. Be fine.
We all love puppies.
We do. Right. Everybody loves a good puppy. Just a bit awkward. It's a bit awkward. Not a bit. It is a lot. 11 o'clock hour kicks off with the news next.
Let's really do the news.
Yes. Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
11 o'clock hour, WYGM Orlando, WJRR, HD2 Cocoa Beach. The Beat of Sports. Get to some of the news and the headlines. Mike Lombardi is the GM of the North Carolina football program. Maybe not for long. Placed on administrative leave by the university. The school announced Monday that his leave is effective immediately. Didn't disclose any details. The Tar Heels open up the season against TCU in Dublin, Ireland. The school's decision stems from a human resources complaint filed by a former UNC front office employee. This doesn't sound good. Right? This doesn't have the,
No.
hey, misunderstanding, right?
No, not a good look.
The hits keep on coming for Bill Belichick and his team. Remember, Mike Lombardi, who was in the NFL for a number of years, one of the big things when Belichick got hired and Lombardi came and he goes, we're going to operate like the 33rd NFL team, which the Giants on the boat that they were on, and it's never been the same since then. I mean, what? Yeah.
Belichick should have just disappeared.
Others suggest that he parked in Jordan's spot at the North facility. Yeah. Yeah.
Are they still a thing?
What?
Bill and
I don't know. I guess I would think. Yeah. I mean, if they win 4 games, you've got to move on.
Yes.
I mean, you can't. And just the quick to detour second. Bubba Cunningham, the well-respected, outgoing, retiring athletic director, was strongly opposed to the hiring of Bill Belichick. Do you know who Bubba Cunningham wanted to hire?
Mm-mm.
And I'm giving a few tea leaves here, okay? It's not a secret, okay? Before Scott Frost got the job at UCF and Terry Mohajir was going through the process of finding somebody to replace Gus, okay? John Summerall was one of the names that made sense, okay? And there was the initial interest, and Summerall had not really decided what he was going to do, and he was using, which is fair game, he was using different positions open for leverage. And by the way, Terry was doing the same thing with other candidates and all sorts of stuff, right? The other school that Summerall was engaging in conversation was North Carolina. And Bubba Cunningham got overruled by a board of trustee chairman who said, we'll take it from here. And they hired Bill Belichick and said, we'll run the football department and we're going to hire an NFL guy, Mike Lombardi, because that's who Bill likes. And you're not really in charge of football anymore. And Bubba was retiring, and he's like, whatever, man.
Bye.
Do whatever you guys want to do. Have a blast, okay? And there you go.
Probably laughing right now.
Laughing?
Hysterically.
Rolling on the floor. If he enjoys a fine bourbon, is probably going, hey, who wants some? Come hang out here. You know? We'll just have some fun with that. $7.14 million is what Ward Manuel will get as he leaves Michigan in his athletic director's role at the end of the year. Good God. Just hand out the stuff, man. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy says that really wasn't him in a TikTok video when people were asking him who he wants at quarterback and he put up 4 fingers. People thought that meant number 4, Deshaun Watson. And he says, you all edited that video and that wasn't him. And that he doesn't have any say in who the head coach is, who the quarterback is going to be.
Oh, he wasn't holding up number 4 for Dak Prescott?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to draft another quarterback top of the draft next year.
Well, I texted going, if there's a place for Diego Pavia to look up.
Good Lord, they're such a dumpster fire.
And by the way, I got nothing against him personally, right? If you're Dylan Gabriel, like, so nothing, huh? Yeah. Can I just get a name in one of these stories about on the hunt here? Nope, nothing. All right. Nothing. Over the weekend, Orlando City, another big win. The Lions gaining some post-World Cup momentum here after blasting San Jose 4-0. Team sitting atop with others in the West. They beat Nashville 1-0 on Saturday. Sold out at the stadium. And great vibe. Antoine Griezmann has give this team a little bit of a jolt and lift here. And two really big wins for Orlando City. Justin Ellis is the 19-year-old kid down from Wellington in South Florida. One of the best young players you'll find in MLS. Let's see. What else we have here for you? Did you see any of the highlights? Andrew Jones and Carlos Beltran, Jeff Kent in the Hall of Fame?
I did not.
It gets lost because of how they do it on a Sunday afternoon. Baseball still does it, I think, in a very historic way, and great speeches, and always a great list of former Hall of Famers that are connected to those getting inducted. It's always hot and people are sweating. So, 60 Hall of Famers were on hand to celebrate the new class. Marlins have lost 12 straight as their AAA team has lost 12 straight. What's the odds of that?
That is crazy.
Huh? How about that?
You know what's even more surprising? For as bad as the Marlins have been through, since the last time they won a World Series, this is what, tied for their longest or the franchise record for longest losing streak?
Yeah.
That's kind of incredible that they haven't lost more games in a row.
It's hard to put a list like that. But yeah. On June 3rd, Jackson Kuban was a junior on the Auburn golf team. He's played in 3 pro events, and now he's a PGA champion. He won the 3M Open title just 24 days into his pro career. Yeah, he's got a better one-liner than you at the bar. Well, what do you do? I'm a tech bro, kind of move some crypto. How about you? I just won a PGA event. He drops a picture of his check on the table. Yeah, 25 under par tournament record, and Scotty Scheffler was cruising. Scotty was getting birdies all over the place, but he wins. Good for him. Let's see. And all the LeBron stuff in Philadelphia, and Sixers tickets in high demand, except there's no schedule yet because they were waiting for him to sign. NBA apparently is going to put the finishing touches on a schedule here. What now?
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's see.
Is there any chance, because LeBron did sign a 2-year deal, so that tells me this isn't his final season?
Well, I don't know that. He signed a 2-year deal, but yeah.
But is there any way he still ends his career in Cleveland?
I don't know. Anything's possible. I guess he's not allowed. I read this. Bobby Marks posted that he can't. There is no trade clause in this deal. Look, LeBron James. You and I talked about this in the time since you've been back. We worked together. The older player that has a historic run on the backside of their career that's not embarrassing themselves plays because they're addicted to everything that goes into it. Fame, fortune, attention. What do I do with myself if I stop doing? Brady did this mid-40s, pushing towards 50. I think James loves the game, the play, the travel, the locker room, the praise, all that stuff. And I don't criticize that. If he was embarrassing himself, averaging 3.6 points a game, but he's not. So if he wants to play 2 more years and he's not embarrassing himself, what's wrong with that?
I never said there was anything wrong with it.
No, I'm just saying, though, that guys at the end of their career that are just out there laboring, and just because it comes to mind, I don't know what Game 9 is going to look like for Aaron Rodgers this year. Maybe it's going to be really bad, but because you saw the decline there. It's nowhere near the guy he used to be. But I can't put on a LeBron James game and go, man, you really is he as fast? No, but he still plays at a high level. Brady played at the highest level. There's something crazy about those guys that it's hard to explain. Messi, just you can't understand it. By the way, did you see the financials? The Packers reported a loss.
It was what, 432 million? The number that I saw.
They posted a loss for the first time, and had their CEO say, "Hey, this may not be sustainable. Just so much that they could sell.
Uh-oh. Trouble.
Time to sell it off. They said they'll never do a naming rights to the stadium. Oh, yes. Yeah. Because, you'll keep it Lambeau Field. It's Lambeau Field presented by. That's all you got to do. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Welcome to
I'm
Lambeau
sure-
Field at Spotted Cow Stadium.
By the way, and I don't want to be too late to our next guest. I was watching, I'm a big F1 fan, right?
Mhm.
So I was watching yesterday, and everybody was mocking, not everybody, a lot of people were mocking the Big 12 with the deal with Monster Energy, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. So then I went down the hole, because Monster Energy is all over F1. Red Bull's the biggest, because they own two teams, and Max Verstappen's a 4-time champion. So in that category, they're the most money. You know what Monster Energy spends on F1 alone? It's north of $50 million. Lewis Hamilton gets $18 million for a non-sugar energy drink line from Monster Energy. Okay, they sponsor McLaren Racing, who won the constructors title and had the world champion Lando Norris last year. Okay, yeah, the brand's really struggling worldwide.
Hey, Liquid Death, you want to help me out here?
It's over $50 million is what they're spending, and people go, well, it's not what it used to be. And to the best of my knowledge, today, on July 27th, the ACC is done, the SEC is done with their media days, the Big Ten has either signed a patch deal. Why not? If it was so easy and so valuable, like everybody told me, where's that patch deal? And for everyone picking on Monster Energy, they spend north of $50 million in Formula One. Do you know the most expensive sport in sponsorship next to the NFL is?
Sounds like F1.
Not even close to 3. It's not even close. And depending on what category you want, it's bigger than the National Football League. How can you sign with that brand? I don't know. That brand that spends over $50 million a year on Formula One? Camps open today for high school football. Why are coaches so upset? Next. As of midnight last night to this morning, high school football camps are able to open, and believe it or not, we got a season in a few weeks because we start in August in this state, and it's mid-August. So all across Central Florida, high school football practice begins. Chris Hayes has covered high school sports for a long time and recruiting for the Orlando Sentinel, and has kind of give us a few minutes here as camps open up. Good morning. Welcome back. How are you, Chris?
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. I want to start here. The FHSAA has heard from coaches. They've tried to deal with the challenge of transfers. And please help me if I'm wrong here. The new policy is if you opened up on a roster today, when camp opens, that's your school for the year. You can't go practice for a week and a half, and then go bounce someplace else. Am I right with that?
Absolutely correct.
Do you think that they'll be able to enforce this? And what led to coaches saying we got to have this rule?
Well, what led to it was a bunch of players last year in South Florida jumped rosters after a week in or 2 weeks in, and it got kind of crazy down there. Even the quarterback who played for American Heritage against Jones in the championship game last year, he had gone from one school to Heritage within the season. So it got kind of crazy down there in Broward and Dade County. So after complaints were enough to look into it, FHSAA decided to go ahead and put in the ruling that once you start at one school, you can't jump around.
You've covered this for a while. How bad has it gotten in the Central Florida area the last couple of years?
As far as jumping around from team to team during season, we haven't really seen that here.
No, but I'm talking about, a camp opens up, or even after a season where all of a sudden, hey, somebody had lived and spent time here. Next thing you know, they're at so-and-so school. That became common, though, the last several years, didn't it, Chris?
Not here in Central Florida. We haven't had any of that. But there's been plenty of transfers.
Right.
Last year and this year, too, we've got more than 200 transfers in the 5-county area.
How did that begin to grow? I mean, clearly once we did open enrollment, but the whispers of coaches that simply flat out recruited.
Yeah, I mean, it's blatant recruiting going on, and whether they can prove it, whether they have enough bodies to police all of the accusations that are out there is the problem. They just don't have enough. FHSAA or Orange County Public Schools, they don't have enough people to go and check where everybody lives and see and check all the accusations about recruiting, and it's pretty difficult to actually prove it anyways. When a lot of times coaches use players to recruit kids, and that's perfectly legal. If you want to try and talk your buddy into coming over and join your team, that's perfectly legal. So there's a lot of different conversations going on out there, but even the coaches who complain about the cheating are cheating themselves.
So look, what caught my attention in the piece you wrote, and it's at OrlandoSentinel.com, you guys have sent Florida Media Day, coaches come, players come. I'm not picking on him, but I laughed when you wrote about Tim Shiflett, the Winter Park coach, who's been doing this for 20 years, is recognized one of the best coaches and best programs. And I'm reading what you wrote. He had never shown up to this event before. Is that correct? He had never come to the media day before?
Yeah. Tim's a character, and he usually doesn't get involved in these kind of things. He lets his assistant coaches bring his players over. But he said the only reason he came Saturday was because another player needed a ride, so he gave him a ride over.
Okay, but he took the opportunity, and whether it was you or others that asked questions, and then he kind of opened up about the transfer deal. And I say this again, I don't know Tim personally. I've invited him a couple of times during the season, as I do with coaches, and it's no big deal. He either not available or whatever. But when people talked about players transferring, Chris, Winter Park was a school that people talked about for years, and now it's a problem?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a cyclical thing. It depends on who your assistant coaches are, who's working the field out there trying to get players to transfer. And I don't want to name any names, but there's a lot of things that are going on, and Winter Park used to have their things.
I mean, is there any reason why Tim opted not to open up about it? Other than the fact he lost some players?
I don't know that him losing players really irritates him that much. He knows the game. He knows how it goes. But I think just the overall just numbers that we're seeing as far as kids jumping schools has gotten so crazy. I mean, we got schools with 20 transfers and 4 or 5 schools in the Orlando area, and 20 transfers in one season from high school to high school is quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote about Gavin Jones, a Tavares coach, or a T-shirt that said, "We coach, they poach." But you did talk to some other coaches that just said, "Look, I can't change it, so I have to adapt." Is that a small group of coaches, or is that a growing group that says, "Listen, if I'm going to do this, I just have to deal with it"?
No, it's a very growing group, and I think that attitude is pretty much the one they're going to have to take, because there is no real answer in sight for controlling it.
You don't have hopes that this can be policed. Do coaches think there's any possibility to police this? I mean, the FHSA, it's worse than the NCAA, and I don't mean about the people running it. It's just the resources to police this. How do you police this?
That's the whole problem, the resources to do it. FHSAA itself doesn't even have enough resources to look into all of the accusations that they get within their grasp. So it's about bodies. It's about looking into and investigating these situations, and until they throw some money at probably hiring people to do it, they're never going to be able to police it.
Can I ask you, on the recruiting side, can you understand, though, the player and family that is seeking the best opportunity to play at the highest college level, that the ability of saying, look, at this school, I just may not get the exposure. We may not win a lot of games. And even though you can be in a 2-8 team and be the best player and get recruited, there's going to be more eyes if you're on the 9-1 or 10-0 team. And that's what's led to a lot of this?
Yes, there's a lot of that. And I do believe that players and parents are getting really wrong information from a lot of people, because you can still get recruited if you're playing at a school that doesn't win a lot of games. And just because you go over to a school that's always winning games, traditionally powerful school, that doesn't mean you're going to get recruited any more so. And maybe sometimes it even means you won't get as much playing time because there's players better than you. So I think there's a lot of misguided things going on out there for parents and kids, and a lot of people who are trying to talk these kids into things are really doing so in their best interest, not in the best interest of the kid. So I think parents really have to be careful when it comes to making a decision to transfer to another school, that this is really the best thing for their kid, because we're seeing kids transfer and then they're transferring again. We've got several kids out there who are transferring 3 and 4 times to different schools during their high school careers.
Rick Darlington, you quoted it, and Rick's one of the most respected guys and still runs his offense, which is not your modern day offense. But what does Rick think about all this, and how does he see all this in the future?
The funny thing about Rick is that he doesn't see a lot of transfers leaving his school or coming to his school for whatever reason. I know Rick's a tough coach to play for. I know kids don't necessarily look forward to transferring to a school that he's coaching at. He had that problem at Apopka. He's got it now at DeLand. Some DeLand kids even transfer to Mainland in Daytona Beach because they don't want to play for Rick Darlington. He's a tough coach, but he wins, and transferring really hasn't affected him.
I think one thing Rick was smart is he picked a place that there are not a ton of schools around. I mean, you have to move, and that's not knocking DeLand if you like the small town area. I think he kind of realized maybe got a better chance to keep some kids. You're right about kids that have left, but he's not like in Metro Orlando where you can go left or right 2-3 miles. There's a high school, so maybe he just picked the right area to go there. But 2, 3, 5 years, is this any better, Chris, or you just think it's even harder to control in the next few years?
If the trend continues, 2, 3, 5 years are going to be worse, because this year is worse than ever. And I thought last year was bad. So it's just continuing to get worse and worse.
You can check out Chris's work at OrlandoSentinel.com on this and everything else as the season gets underway. Did we actually have schools open up at midnight last night? Are we doing Midnight Madness in high school football?
Oh yeah, there's a few schools. Southlake did it last night. I'm not aware of any others, but Southlake and Groveland, they did open at midnight last night.
They do realize you don't get to play the second week of December just because you started at midnight, do they? Right?
I just get the team camaraderie thing, just a little fun, have some fun at midnight.
And they probably spent an hour introducing themselves to each other because of all the new players that got there, probably.
Southlake might. They have 19 transfers there.
There you go.
They
There you
probably have
go.
to do some introductions.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
You bet, Mark. Take
See ya.
care.
Yeah.
Got to show the commitment, Mark.
Yeah.
Then I won't see him back 4 o'clock in the afternoon for 2 days.
I'm not picking on Tim Shipley. He's one of the great coaches in the area, and everybody tells me he's a great guy and he runs a great program. It's just, hey, come on now. Let's not say, hey, transfers are a problem. Built a couple rosters in recent years that, kids just showed up. I mean, let's call it what it is. But, and I'm not defending anything. It's no different than college sports, Chris. Okay? Whether you think it's for the wrong reasons, okay? Coaches want to win. Assistant coaches want to win. Principals like when their team wins. Players want to win. Parents want to win. And they're going to do what they can in an area where the rules are gray. And once the state made the move of open enrollment, which initially was for academic reasons and then became a loophole for athletic, this was inevitable. And while Chris is right, just because you're playing on a bad team doesn't mean you can't get college exposure. But Chris, you got a star running back that's on a 3-7 football team that he's the whole reason why they won the 3 games, and even when they lost, he had a great game. And you're the experienced team that brings back a quarterback, 4 offensive linemen, 3 wide receivers, and you lost your running back because he went to play at a decent G6 school. And that kid lives 6 miles away. And your JV running back is 5'8", 135. And the guy that's at that 3-7 school is 6'2", 215. Right? I mean, is it right? I don't know what right or wrong is anymore. I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy. I mean, when I grew up, the guys that I played with in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, I knew were going to be my high school teammates. Nobody moved, and if somebody moved in, it was a new kid. Then I learned about private schools, and all you jerks left our team and went to private school, and we sucked in high school. That's what happened. But, I mean, that's how it happens. And if you think the NCAA doesn't have resources, what do you do? What do you do if you're the FHSA and someone calls and says, hey, come on. So the new rule says and you got to be on a registered roster today. If you're on a registered roster today, that's it. That's it. Because you heard Chris say, and we did this story too. Jones played a team whose quarterback was on a different team during the season. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy stuff, man. Back and more of the Beat of Sports next.
More sports, more banter, more Marc Daniels. This is the Beat of Sports.
I'm going to need a ruling by you, and if the audience wants to chime in, whether you're on the stream or on the text line here.
Okay.
I'm a big believer in this. I'm passionate about it, okay? I understand people wear jerseys, whatever the sport, football, basketball, baseball, whatever the sport is, okay?
Jersey guy.
Right. No. I don't believe that you can wear the jersey of someone when your physique is nothing like them.
Oh, we
Meaning-
talked about this before.
Meaning, thin guy can't wear a Jonathan Ogden jersey, right? Thin guy can't wear.
So I can't rock a Larry Allen jersey?
No. and then the other way, okay? The other way, and this happened food shopping yesterday, okay? I want you to picture Tracy McGrady's, at least in this town, his jersey, okay? The magic colors and everything on a guy pushing 350.
It fits.
No.
It fits.
No, believe me, it didn't fit, okay? This did not fit.
Was he not rocking a double or triple XL?
But McGrady didn't wear that. That's the thing. I mean, you either way,
I have
can't.
no issue with it, Mark.
Oh, God. Yeah.
There's no issue with it.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it. You've got to stick within your frame. Yeah, you got to stick within your frame.
There's not many 350-pound basketball players, Mark.
If that's not motivation to get yourself in shape, I don't know what is. I just think if you're going to push that, you can only choose linemen. Sorry. You're going to tell me, okay, you take your lovely princess daughter and your bride, okay? You're at a theme park, which you probably wouldn't go to because you don't like the crowds and everything, right? You're standing in line. You're playing games with your daughter. She's laughing. She's smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy's got a CeeDee Lamb jersey on, and he's pushing $4 bills.
Go Cowboys.
Come on.
Go Cowboys.
Oh, no.
Fire Jerry, baby.
No. And it goes the other way, too.
It doesn't bother me.
Listen, like you can't be ready? You can't be a thin guy. Like you're 5'9", 150, okay? Rocking a Aaron Donald jersey. You can't. You're too small. You can't do that.
That's why you order a schmedium.
I just said, yeah. I mean, you got to have, it just got to fit.
So what, kids can't wear jerseys?
Kids are different. You become a grown adult. I think there's a certain decision when you're a grown adult that you're going to wear jerseys. Kids are kids. They sell kids, jerseys. But when you're an adult,
they sell jerseys for the larger people.
I just think you've got to be somewhat within the, you just got to kind of fit a little bit. You got to, it's got to work.
So what if there's someone who's
like the guy, Allen Iverson jersey, and the guy's 6'6", 330. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
What if there's a guy who's, we'll say, 6'2", 280 pounds, but it's not muscle. It's fat. And he's rocking a Ray Lewis jersey.
Yeah, to me, it's insulting to Ray Lewis. Like, I think Ray Lewis would be pissed. Like, take it off, man. Get yourself in shape. Yeah. I just
Why did that bother you so much?
I don't know.
Of all the things, and you tell me to not let things bother me. Of all the things in this world that could bother you,
yeah,
I don't know. That's the hill you want to die on.
He was on an aisle that I was on yesterday.
That is the hill you want to die on.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
Come on, man. And by the way, no undershirt. Now you're kind of moving to my side here. Now you're moving to my side.
You always wear an undershirt.
No undershirt.
Always wear an undershirt.
No undershirt. Shorts. High tops. Just.
Oh, he's ready to take the court. He's ready to take the court.
Thinks he probably has game. First, you got to take the ball off the rack and chuck the air ball from 18 feet. Grab his hand as if it's sprained. That's why he shot the air ball. Like, oh, Get back again. Come on, man. Something, man. I was taking the trash out, hurt the wrist, and so forth.
It was just like Brucey from the longest yard. Just had some popcorn.
Yeah, no undershirt. Yeah, I don't like it.
You got to wear an undershirt.
Mm.
Could be a wife beater, but you need an undershirt.
Chris means shirt.
Yes.
No. Oh, yeah. All right.
Why does that bother you?
I don't know why some things bother me. That bothered me. Yeah. I didn't even care about the price of the item I was getting, which is too expensive. I cared more about that. Like, come on. Really? What are we doing? You know? Yeah. Can I give you one of the quick shopping story yesterday?
Yes.
I was buying some grilled pork chops.
Okay.
You know, like in the summertime, grill the pork chops. A little showdown with the butcher back there.
Uh-oh.
Well, the pork chops are lined up, and I like the look of a certain pork chop. He kind of got the look like, because he went to grab it. I go, no, can I get those? And he got the look like, I think I'm the butcher here. And I'm like, I don't care if you're the cow. Okay. Yeah. Because he bent down to grab, and I go, no, can I get those? And he got the look like, oh, okay, sure. These are better. Okay. Little showdown with the butcher.
Can I give you a quick story that happened to me on Friday?
Yeah.
So I'm out with my wife and daughter.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the name of the place because I'm about to tell a story that's not meant to make fun of him.
Good setup.
But.
Good setup here.
So I go to order a beer at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be that guy.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any West Coast IPAs?
Oh, Mr. Snob's in the house, everybody.
And he looks at me.
He goes, yeah, West Coast Orange County? Or, yeah, he goes, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean? Oh, you mean like West Coast California? I was like,
what? He said West Coast California?
Yeah. Well, he thought I meant a beer from like the West Coast of the U.S.
Yeah, so?
Not the hoppy.
Well, excuse us. We're not all the expert that you are, Mr. Know-It-All. I don't blame the guy there.
You're behind the bar.
Come on.
Basic beer
If they don't sell that, then, you know.
Then say you only have hazies or New England IPAs.
You're a tough guy over there, huh?
Come on, man.
We went out on Saturday for dinner. We were at Tommy Bahama's cafe over in Winter Park Village. And ordered the app before 2 salads. Salads come out. Okay? And I said to the manager who was helping the guy at the bar, we sat at the bar, hey, we ordered an app. You just canceled that. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. No problem. The bartender that was serving us came over, goes, everything okay? I go, hey, no, yeah, everything's fine. Just the app never came out, and it's fine. He canceled out. Went back, brought it out. Said, hey, honest, don't worry about it. Nice. Customer service, man.
Yeah. It's okay to
got the old 40% tip from Daniels.
It's okay to admit a mistake. It's also clear to see that you can return food or have food canceled without
Dude was in the
causing
weeds,
a
man.
scene.
A lot of stuff going on. So I'm sitting right there. It's no big deal, man.
Like, I don't understand why people flip a switch just like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Hey, never came out. No big deal. Just don't bring it out.
I'm still ticked off on Jersey guy, though.
Get over it. It's not a big deal.
Tracy McGrady was just thin, long guy. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't work. How about a Shaq jersey? Shaq? Want to get a Shaq jersey? How about that? How about one of those?
But Shaq was still in shape.
It was 400 pounds, okay? It works. It works.
But he was still in shape.
But it works. The McGrady thing doesn't work.
You're killing me, Mark.
What if it was a Jameer Nelson jersey? Would that have bothered you?
No.
Oh.
It could have been Muggsy Bogues.
I would have called the manager. I would have called the manager. Hey, what? Aisle 6? Yeah. There's a guy like 6'3", 330. Yeah. He's wearing a Muggsy Bogues shirt. And you're not going to do something about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? He can't wear that shirt.
I'm offended.
I get thrown out. I'm in handcuffs on the way out. They throw me out. Yeah. Come back, put a wrap on the Monday show next.
trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends.
That's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Okay, we're looking with a podcast today, Chris.
It won't be up. Issues again with the site that we use to post a podcast, but never fear. Now that you can watch us, you can go back on YouTube, watch the show, listen to Mark's ridiculous things that annoy him.
Oh, it's my fault. I'm sorry. It's my fault that the podcast machine broke. Okay. Just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah. Mike works. So no podcasts available. You can go watch the video stream on our YouTube page, 96 on the Game Orlando, and the stream will be up there. Okay. So had that happened. It's all my fault.
I hope there's someone out there that's like 6'4", 6'5", pushing 300 pounds, if not even bigger.
Yeah.
Rocking a Muggsy Bogues jersey. Just do it.
Just have to go see. Did they ever sell? Okay. You don't think selling a Muggsy Bogues shirt in like a 4X is just wrong to begin with?
If Muggsy Bogues is your favorite player, it's okay.
Have a nice day, Chris.
You too, Mark.
Chris and I are coming back tomorrow for a Tuesday show. Thanks for hanging out with us today in the Beat of Sports.